people come into the training center and I go, what's that? And I go, that's what we call a gecko. And they go, what does it do? And I'll show you. Or this is the FS Rapid Clamp. What is it? I'll show you how to set it up today. And they go, when's that coming out? I go, it's been out since the early 2000s. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to go through. Now, this is episode number 47. I did cover the Vaxis over here on episode number 20, but I'll just go over it toward the end. And when I said this earlier, I have way too much set up. It's going to get crazy because there's a lot to know about the clamps. But let's get down to the basics. I'm going to step behind here, all right, because this is where we have the overview today. And I want to talk about the first two clamps. One's an F-style screw clamp. You know possibly where this goes, but I'm going to show you today with the F-style clamp and the ratcheting clamp the differences, but all the possibilities where these work. Okay, so in saying that, this stuff I'm going to forget, but you probably will, tell me where else these can go. All right? Okay, so the first time I went through a training at Festool, I saw the trainer go like this, and he went, and he made it look way too easy. I was struggling with this screw-style clamp constantly, and I said, do that again, and I watched. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it through a dog hole here. I'm going to bring it down, and I want to show you this on the clamp. Let me take it out again. Look at the movement here. See how there's the movement? So what you need to do is take this, when you put it in, and put your finger back here and cock it on that bar. That way there, it engages this part on the bar, and you're good to go. Right then and there, I was like, this is amazing. Okay? Because I had struggled with this, and I'd be willing to bet there's a couple hundred of you out there that have struggled with these clamps. Now, there's another clamp right here. We call it the ratcheting clamp. Never get your fingers in there. Don't ask me why. That's a pinch point. Okay? But when you take it, it's the same way. You put that profile underneath through one of the dog holes in the MFT. Bring your finger back here. But you see this part right here? Make sure that's all the way forward. Bring it down. Put your finger back there. And there you go. Now, let's talk about which ones should I get. Okay? If we look at everybody thinks it's about the pricing, but I'm going to show you, you need both of these for different applications. Okay, now, see this? I think the majority of you love this clamp, but for the same price, you get two of these screw clamps. All right? I'm going to put this in here, but I want you to understand this. I'm going to screw this like this and clamp it down, right? Now, the nice thing about the ratcheting clamp, this will never disengage. But this one, over time, because this is a ramped screw, may loosen on you. But it's still a great clamp. Okay, now, hopefully you follow that. There's another version of the screw clamp. Did I tell you these come in a 2-pack? Okay, good. There's another 2-pack out there, and it's the screw type version. But what this for is you get a bigger reach. So if I'm clamping something like this, okay, a drawer box, right? Hopefully I can get it in here. I can grab it like this. I got too much set up here. I'm just going to move that like that. I'm taking your advice, Chris. Slow down. So if I need to screw this like this to hold this side of this drawer box and work this, I can. Okay? So, where do these profiles work? All over the daggone place. And I'm going to try to cover as much as I can today. All right? And I'm going to slide over here. So, they work through the dog holes like this, but they also work with the dog holes like this for a lower profile to hold something like this. All right? You'll see me using this in just a couple minutes with the rail because they work on the rail as well. But one of the things I've seen people struggle with over the years, and you don't need to struggle with this, is you see this profile here? I see people put it in this way. You don't have to. You can slide it in this way, okay? But I got to clamp something vertically. And I've seen people over the years trying to clamp something vertically like this. You don't have to. Just get what we create. It doesn't have to be a sustainer. It's good if it is. Okay? It could be the rolling stool. It could be something that elevates the material up and create what is known as a dead man in any woodworking scenario. So now you can work that, and when I put pressure on there, this stops the movement down, okay? So that's an easy way to work in a vertical position. Okay, whew, here we go. These work in the guide rail. This profile just slides right in there. So a lot of you say, well, I just rely on these neoprene strips so it doesn't move. Okay, but what if it moves on you? What if you're working with a slippery material? You could take these clamps and slide it in and lock your rail down the material. Now, I set up my 75 because I used to get frustrated when I was ripping my 75 because if I was ripping a board this wide, these ratcheting clamps would come into play. Right here. Watch. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I need to lock it down to... I need to lock my board down to the MFT. But what was in the way? Look. See that? What you can do is you can take this. I'm going to take this off so I don't wreck it. But you see the profile here? Look at this. It is, what? Slimmer than this top rib. So when I lock the board down, guess what? It doesn't impede the movement. The motor doesn't hit it on the way. Okay? But I want to talk about the screw clamp versus the ratcheting clamp. Because I know everybody wants to know the difference. Hopefully I've showed you so far. But I need both when I work, is what I'm trying to get at. Okay? So look at my length of board here. Okay, and I'm going to go through a couple scenarios here, okay? So I want to rip this. I want to clamp it down to the material, okay? But, Chris, hopefully you can get in here. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to bring it in. Now, if I was using the ratcheting clamp, see how it cants forward? Like this? This part gets in the way. The screw clamp, I can get really close like this. Look. See? Just like this. And this is really important because guess what? I got to clamp it down here as well. So let's come down here. I'm just going to loosen this up and move it a little. So it allows you, what I'm getting at, to clamp this material down and do it safely. See how close I can get to the profile of the MFT? Cool. Now, if I had this ratcheting clamp on here, come down here, Chris, so you can see this, everything gets in the way. So what I like to show everybody is when I take this clamp, okay, I can still, look, get a bite of that. Follow? But what I also like to do, you know how I showed you the hold fast on here? Okay? You can do that, but you can also do this. Watch. I can clamp to the underside, and it's all locked down, and that board's not going to move when I'm ripping. Okay? So there's a couple of tips right there. I know it gets a little too involved, but you'll remember this. You can go back and review it. Okay? Huh?
Great tip.
Thank you very much, Chris. Okay, good. So those two work with the rail. Okay. Whew. Back over here, Chris. Ay, ay, ay. Where else does it work? Well, you know what I'll do? I'll slide over here. Anytime you see what? A T-slot? Guess what? That clamp works on the CMS fence just like this. So if you want to have a what? A stop and start point. You know, say you're doing a drop cut right here and then maybe a stop here to do what? A mortise. You can do that. Okay? You have that ability. That profile works in a bunch of places. Another one right over here. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's go to the Capex. In the Capex mini table or the MFT mini, whatever we're calling it these days. I'm going to tilt it back so you guys can see this. See these little pods right here? That works on any configuration of MFT. But the MFT mini designed for the Capex has this extra hole right here. Now, if we come over here, Chris, look. You can now, because you line it up on that configuration, you can get these. These are clamping knobs, and I can clamp it down. But if you don't have these knobs and you're out on a job site, see this little part right here? I can slide this up, and this comes up and locks in absolutely perfect to hold that down and it doesn't impede the movement of my miter. So that's another place that it works. I told you not to let me forget this. There's another place that those clamps work. Whoa! The magnetics, tough tools for the toughest demands, baby. Check this out. This is the magnetic stand. It goes right here. It comes with a big steel washer that you could screw in. Boom. But if you're on the MFT or somewhere there's a dog hole or a 2x4 and you don't want to screw into it, there's a little slot right there, and it works just like that. Hey, Mo! Okay, good. So there you go. Another place that works. It's a system. Woo! Got it. Next. Where else does it work? Okay. We're almost done with the F-styles. We have this. This was the original crown stop and the table that came with it. And when you put it on the K-Pex, you had this slot that's your crown stop, and some of you have this, okay? It was the original offering, right? Where you would set up your nest for your crown. But you can also use it just like this in the slot. But I'll talk about more about the K-Pex clamps in a few minutes. Didn't know that, did you, Chris? No. Big D, did you know that one?
Nope, didn't know that one.
Okay, good. Neither did I till about a half hour ago. Just kidding. Okay. Let's talk about, my God, this is fun. I'm just getting warmed up here. All right. So we all know what these are, right? These are called dogs. All right. These pieces come with these dogs. These are called clamping elements. When I first saw these, I was like, back in the early 2000s, I was scratching my head. What the heck are those? And then I went, oh, wait a minute. That's a dog. And on my traditional workbench at home, if I'm hand planing or scraping something, guess what? That impedes the forward momentum, doesn't it? That's what a dog does in a dog hole. But what if I'm sanding something like this? You got a hole, and this thing wants to, using a round pad sander, it wants to move around. If we come in here and you look, see this right here? That's an eccentric cam, an off center. It's thinner here and thicker here, so it creates it's basically a round wedge. Okay, it comes with 4 knobs, so if you want to lock it down to the table. If I put that against the opposing hole here, push it like this and pull it back, guess what? It is now locked in. That's what clamping elements are. In fact, my drill press at home, I have dog holes drilled out. I put this right in there and it holds it up against the fence. It makes a great drill press vise as well. Somebody recently, I just did an Instagram post on this, and someone mentioned to me, or asked me, what's my clamping elements are losing tension. If we look right here, it's a 3mm screw. Okay, it goes to a little screw in here, a little grub screw, and what you can do is if you start to lose tension, you can adjust the tension if it's too tight or too loose. And there you go. Okay, so there's a cool tip for you. Good? You just have to use the Festool hex key set. Okay, good. Okay, I'll put that over here. Whoop, 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 whoop. Now, I want to teach you how to use these clamps and I used to struggle with this all the time. I don't want you to struggle with it because these clamps are amazing. Okay? I used to struggle where, check this out. You see this? I need to do this, and the hole is not close enough. The dog hole's not close enough here, and it's too tight in here. I can't get my clamp in. So you know what I would do? I would rearrange my whole MFT table if I needed to do a dado or an inlay on something. Until I saw somebody in a class come in, and if you have something, look, the same thickness of your material, you bring it out like this. This is called making a bridge. And I could take it, put it in this hole. You always want to clamp closer to the hole back here. And if I do this, look, oopsie, that holds it nice and tight and doesn't move. So there's all kinds of possibilities and setups with these clamps. And I'm probably forgetting a couple hundred of them. Okay. Where do I start next? I got the K-Pex done. I got the track saw done over here. You know what? I think I'm going to venture right over here to this little beauty. See this? We call this the gecko. Okay? and it fits on the guide rail with these 2 screws right here. You have to have a Festool posi drive number 2 to tighten it up. Just kidding. All right. But what it does is, I want you to see this. These are suction cups. Okay, so if I put it on the rail like this, okay, so say I'm cutting out, let's just pretend here. Stay right there, Chris. Say this is a hardwood floor, and I got a board in there that I need to do a drop cut or a plunge cut to cut out for a repair. Okay? So how do you clamp the rail? A lot of guys I know don't clamp the rail. All right? And then it moves on them ever so slightly. I could take this down here just like this now, okay? Put a little bit of pressure, and it locks right in. So now it'll stay where you place it, okay? What if I need to cut, hey, Sparky, come over here, Chris. What if I need to cut a window in here, a tea light? Look, that locks right there. That's called the gecko. That's what it's for. Wow. Doesn't leave marks, okay? So there you go. Cool? Got it? Super. So that's another style clamp. You know what? I'm just going to take that off. Just
Safety
because.
first.
I put one up on the wall once, and I left it there for weeks. Just my luck, it won't stay there today. All right. Now, here's one of my favorite clamps. This is the one everybody says, when are you guys coming out with this? So you've seen clamps like this, right? The quick clamps, right? Okay, where it's a trigger here, and you release it here. All right, but we made it for the Festool system. See how this is round? It's just not a straight 90. You can use this to clamp off of angles. So it comes in 2 parts, this part and this part. You put it on like this, slides right into the bottom of the rail. All right, just like this. I'll put it in here like this. I'll flip it over. Now the nice thing about this, when I release it, is you can put it 2 different ways. You can put it vertical, or if this gets in the way, you can put it down. So what if you're creating reveals on doors? You can actually take this, and let me just set it up here. I'll move this out ever so slightly so it's set up on the door. Bring it right in, lock it in. And now I can take that and say I got to create a reveal at the bottom of the door. I know this is the top of the door, but I can create a reveal and lock it in. Now, there are some folks out there that lock this right on the door and put a track saw in a vertical position and run it. This handle may get in the way, so you could take this. Chris, can you come in here and catch this? And you could take it, whoopsie, and actually use it just like this. Okay? So it makes it a little bit easier in case that handle gets in the way. Vertical or horizontal. Gecko, F-style clamps, clamping elements. Oh, one clamp that's so misunderstood. To the point where I know a lot of you out there don't use hold downs on your slide compound miter saws. It's because they're difficult to use. They weren't engineered properly. It's usually a big old cup washer with a ball joint, and it always gets in the way. It's frustrating to put from side to side. This is a clamp, and I'm going to move it, and it's super easy. I'm going to push it back, and you're going to see the flat. Okay, I want to switch sides. I want to bring it right here and bring it in, and I'm going to hold down. Let me get a piece of base. Say I'm cutting base like this. Okay, now there's a couple of tips I want to show you. See how this is not a typical ball joint right here? It has these flats. You can get the pressure exactly where you need it. And what I like to do is I like to push it down, and you see how it's got a little bit of play back there? I lift it up like this, push it down, and it locks down there. So nice. And it switches from side to side. Now, I'm going to talk about that flat again because it's really important. I have it set up over here. Hey, Sparky, how are you? You doing good? It's okay. It's okay. I can work around doggies. All right. Okay, so this is the crown setup, the newest crown setup. This is our nesting board. You can see where I have set up the F-style clamps, the ratcheting clamps to work with it. Okay, but what I want to get at is I've set it up. I've set up my crown in here to create the nest. But what I was getting at is You've never, or I know a lot of clamps that I've used. I've never been able to put clamp pressure on crown molding. I can now. Look at this little flat. I can bring it right up here and hit this little fillet right here, and there's your clamping pressure. It just holds it. It makes it really nice. It won't move on you. So there's an unbelievable clamp that possibly you're not utilizing. Make sure you do. Okay. Woo! Here we go. I'm looking around to see if I covered everything. Hey, I got the light, right?
Yep.
Anything
Good.
about the Vaxxis?
Of course I am. That's how I'm going to round it up. Wrap it up, baby. Okay. Oh, there's cool. Does Festool actually make bench dogs? Well, in the we have a limited edition set that we offer every once in a while. And I don't have one out here, but we have little dogs that fit in there, and they're really nice. And we have also planing stops. You never know when those may come back out. I'm looking over here because I told you I won't forget anything. See this surface right here? We have, and when we build something, like this is our work table and support. These work in the secondary table here. They work here on top. There's all kinds of positions where this works. But also, we have this. So say you go out and you're on your CT dust extractor. You need a work surface. It's a clamping surface right here. You can clamp to it. You got a neoprene strip. This is the CIS MFT. You can store your clamps right in there. But also on the side, if you need to get on the side here, you can. And it's also got a V-groove for round stock. Say you got to work a spindle. Okay? Good. Woohoo! Now we're going to work with the quick clamps tend to elevate workpiece. Is there a way to stop this? Okay, the clamping elements, yes. And let's come over here so we can see this. Okay, so say I'm clamping something. It's more like with 3/4. And you see, if we come over here, this lifts a little. Okay, there is a way to do that. We have knobs that will lock these down. It'll keep it from lifting. But there is also another workaround on it. I'll show you. See this right here? You can pull this off, put it in the upper position here, just like this. And if I take this, I got to get it in a better position here because this is a tall piece. Let's see, I'll bring it right over here so I can actually have it right on there. Will this work? Nope. Let's go a little bit further. There we go. Okay, so watch. I have it in the hole. And you see this? If I lift it up and elevate it ever so slightly, there's less tendency for it to lift. Those knobs work great, though. Okay? So maybe that's a workaround for you. I would go with the knobs to lock it down. Keeps it from lifting. Okay, let's talk about the Vaxxis. Right? I mentioned this earlier. You can go see a full. Wow, that actually locked on there really quick today. Okay. I've gone through the making of this clamp in episode 20. This little board right here. In other words, if you've seen me today working pieces, I'm clamping like this. I always use 2 clamps. I have to route. What if I have to route? I'm going to pull this piece out in particular. Look. I can route this entire edge right now. If I did this with these clamps, it would be moving it around twice. Okay? 4 clamps. It's time consuming. What the Vaxxis does is it eliminates the time consumed in clamping and unclamping. And if I need to release it, it's right here. And now I can flip it over, whether I'm sanding or routing a bullnose on here. It is a tremendous time saver. Now, there's a couple things with the Vaxxis that I always talk about that go missing when somebody sees this. Oh, it's just for big shops. Not necessarily. What if in your shop you're doing this? You got to do some joinery. This doesn't work. So if I take this, I rotate it out like this. There's a little pin in there. I take this out. There's a bunch of different pods. I'm killing myself today. Okay, there's a bunch of different pods, and I just want to show you this. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. But that pod goes right in there. Look, I match it to the profile. Okay, and I put it right in. I make sure that pin seats in there. I lock it in, and now I can work this. But what if I want to work it like this, twisted? What if I want to work it like this, you can. Okay, it is extremely versatile. That's what this lever is for here on the side. If it gets in the way, it's spring-loaded. And I just thought I'd show you that today. I'm going to release this, but I'm going to take it a step further. You can make your own pods for it. So I'm going to release this, take this out. Okay, because I know there's a lot of people out there doing charcuterie boards. Did I say that right?
Close enough.
Emo! Or cutting boards, right? So this is a template, say for a cutting board. And I could do this. I could take this all day long, cut them rough, right? Then I could take a template, clamp it to it, and I would be clamping and clamping a template on top of this. But what if I take this template, right? Okay, make a hole. I could trace this out, make a hole here, a through hole, right? I use this EDPM gasketing for weather stripping, and then I could take it just like this, and that seals right down. I could take a flush trim bit and do these all day long. It saves a humongous amount of time.
It's virtually impossible.
Thank you. It's the holding power is incredible. We have all the statistics online. I've never had movement on anything I was routing or sanding. It is wicked strong. If you have something larger, you can get an SC2. You can put this in a series. You can do 2 pods in a series for larger pieces. It's incredible. I've seen people stand on these things, and it doesn't move. Do you ever reverse the end stop on the clamping elements? I never do. Best way to maintain surface clamp after getting indented. Oh, that's so easy. I just did a post on that. In fact, when I was scrambling this morning, the guy saw me grab a piece right here of Granite Soft, and I see this all the time. Okay, so whether on here or the clamping elements, let me take the clamping element. I'm going to reset this. Sometimes the movement on here gets a little restricted. I'm just going to reset it so I have it for this afternoon. Okay, okay. But over time, because of the way this works, it bites on here. Okay, and you get what is known as knurling. What I like to do is just sand it off ever so slightly. It's just maintenance I do every year, every half year in here. Okay, and it just makes it really smooth. I put some dry lube on there. I do it on these clamps, sometimes on these, and sometimes right here, you get the bite on here. Let me show you this on your, see this? You get the knurling on here. I saw it earlier, look. That's all it is. Put a little dry lube, it's smooth, slick. You always have to, in clamps, and a lot of people don't understand this, you have to have them a little malleable so they have that movement for twisting. You don't want to harden the shaft as much as a router bit or whatever, or a drill bit. You have to have a little pliability, I guess is maybe a little bit better. Okay, wow, Minnie, that it for questions? Okay, as I look around the room, I've probably forgotten 100 things. I apologize. But it's one of those basic things that you always need to look at. I've seen people struggle with Festool clamps, and there's no need to. Okay? So, hopefully this was informative enough. I need to... Oh, that's all that showed up today, Min. Look, man. All of you guys didn't show up today. Go ahead. Keep filming, Chris. Look at this. Wow, Minnie. Okay, so once again, hey, Rob, I think you were on there first. And yes, I know how to pronounce it now. Cinnaminson, New Jersey. I always like calling this out. We love this part. We love seeing where you guys and gals are from. We really appreciate it. So I'm going to start going. Oh, Minnie, I got to look up how do you say that?
Yeah, he was here last
I know. I apologize. Chris, can you see that? Yep. Okay, so, Yalajari V. I'm so bad. How would you say it, Minnie?
How do you say that?
Yeah. Rod from Morgan Hill. Greg from Chadle, England. St. Louis, Missouri. 2-pack. You guys are putting stuff up there you know I can't pronounce. Swaddling Coat, England. How you doing, Dale? UK. We have New Jersey, Orebro, Sweden, Long Island, New York. Tom and Kelly from Eaton, Georgia. Roland from St. Tyrol, or St. Tyrol, or Tyrol, South Tyrol, Italy. Greeley, Colorado. Bellevue, Nebraska. Portsmouth, Rhode Island. I could say that. Hoosick Falls, New York. Ottawa, Canada. 2-pack. Chef Shannon Ambrosio from Brooklyn, New York. London, Canada. Southern California. Perth, West Australia. Phoenix, Arizona. Oberusel, Germany. Grand Ledge, Michigan. Luxembourg. I can say that one. I got to go see all these places. Ibstock, England. Toledo, Ohio. Mechanicsville, Virginia. L.A. Okay, so when somebody says L.A., Minnie, is that Los Angeles? Is it Lower Alabama? Or is it where I'm from? I'm from L.A., Maine. That's Lewiston, Auburn. Okay, French Alps, Roscoe, Illinois. Christopher from Switzerland. Haverhill, Mass. Charlotte, North Carolina. Iceland. Woo! Carrollton, Virginia. Prattsville, Alabama. Tom, how you doing from Easton, North Carolina? Australia. Hepburn, UK. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Warsaw, Poland. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Okay, oh my goodness. Check this one out. August, it almost looks like August, doesn't it? Oegstgeest, Netherlands. Edenhaven, the Netherlands. Andy from Melville, New York. DIY woodworking class at Fontana, California. VJ from Sunnyvale, California. Helena, Montana. Kyalami, South Africa. Mac from the Netherlands. We have Findlay, Ohio. Weistow, New York. Delft, Netherlands. Man, you guys in the Netherlands, huh? Love that place.
It's popping off in the
Hey, I
Netherlands.
went to a place. I always remember this. I could not pronounce it, but when I left there, I could. It was called Vinvixveen. Huh? I remember that one, don't I? Okay, Minnie, I got to turn you around, baby. Okay, watch out, Sparks. I don't want to hurt you, babe. Hit your paw. Okay, we have, oh, there it is. There it is. Japolino? No, Japan. We have East Yorkshire, England. Yarrow, Poland, Holland. Vinny from Repair Canada. How you doing, Vinny? France, Oswego, Oregon. Barrie, Massachusetts. Oxford, England. Johannesburg, South Africa. Indianapolis, Indiana. And it's Jeremy Chapman. How you doing, Jeremy? We have Auburn, Alabama, Japan, New Jersey, again. Lillesand, Norway. Rukobing, Denmark. Paul from Lisbon, Portugal. Montreal, Boston. 2-pack. How you doing, Jason? And we have, what is it? Delaware. All right. RSM from Delaware. How are you? So, is that it, Min Min?
That's all I got.
Is that it? Unit?
That's it. We got it.
Big D, is that it?
Yes, sir.
All right. I want to thank Brent online again. Thank you, buddy. Thanks everybody. Thank you, Sparky. All right. I just want to give a shout out to a department here at Festool North America that has made this entire year fantastic for us. And I want to call out everybody in our warehouse making everything happen for us. Never missing a day, making sure those shipments get out there. And we love you guys. Keep up the hard work. You're the hardest working crew here at Festool. You are the best. It's our whole logistics department. Thank you. Did I say thank you?
You sure
Thank
did.
you, thank you, thank you. And I want to thank you because we love you, everybody. Everybody watching, you guys make our day every Friday at noon. And boy, have I been waiting for next week's episode 48. And I ain't telling you what it is. But you guys, I can't, not yet. But get ready because it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to sand drywall.
Wait a second.
Oh! I let it slip. Okay, is it next week?
Yep. Next
All
Friday.
right! Woo! We are stoked for next Friday. We'll see you then at noon. Happy Festool Friday. And don't do anything this weekend I wouldn't do.